This video is going to walk you through how to upload your birth data into BirthTracks. Now, the first step is that you have to have a CSV file that you've either exported from your EHR or from a personal spreadsheet. You're going to log into BirthTracks, you're going to come here to the Birth tab, Import Births, and then click Start Import. Now, the first step is to review the providers. So any of the providers that are listed in your file need to be listed as active providers in BirthTracks. So you can review the providers that you have in BirthTracks here. If you have any that are inactive that you want to make active, then you need to have a seat available for them. You can click upgrade for more users if you don't have any seats. And then you would click the three dots here and you would see activate user once you have a seat available. If they're not listed at all on this list, you can also come here to add user. And then if you have any historical providers that are no longer with your practice and you don't want to activate a subscription for them, then during the mapping process, you can just select other instead. So we're going to click next, and then we're going to select our file and then click upload. And then this is next going to take us to the mapping process where we're going to be mapping the columns and the values in our file to the appropriate fields and values in BirthTracks. So the first step is to verify that you have the correct date format in your file. So ours is actually listed as year, month, day. And then we're going to go through and then review each of the columns that are in our file and that they've mapped appropriately to the BirthTracks fields. So most of this is done automatically. If you need to make any changes, then you can select here. This is going to list all of the fields that are in BirthTracks, and then you could select a different field. You could also search if you needed to, and then if you're not finding your field, you can add a new custom field. So we're going to scroll down all the way to the bottom here to look if there's any fields that have not been mapped. And it looks like, for example, shoulder dystocia, this one I don't believe we have a field for. So we can go ahead and add a new field. So we're going to select the category. So we'll put this in the birth section. And then we'll make this, either as a pull down, it's automatically going to pull the values from your spreadsheet. Or if we wanted to make this into a checkbox, we could do that. And then we're going to click submit. And then you can see here that we've now created this field. It's highlighted in pink. So if you needed to make any change to the field, you could do so by clicking on it there. We're also going to put NTSV. And then let's see, birth site. We'll also add birth site as well. So now we have all of them mapped, and we're going to click next. And then we're going to now map the values that are in our file. So you can see here, this is a provider that is non-active provider in BirthTracks. So we're just going to select other instead. We're going to scroll down. And I do want to take a look at type of birth. So BirthTracks does allow you to map one column to multiple fields. So for example, BirthTracks has two fields for type of birth. We have vaginal and cesarean births. So as you can see here, it's automatically mapped your type of birth, water birth, to vaginal birth, water birth. And then same thing for primary C-section. This has been mapped to cesarean births, primary. So you'll just go down, you'll just review and make sure that everything has been mapped appropriately. And then again, if you needed to, you could just select the drop down and make a change to a different value in the drop downs of BirthTracks. And then we had added the shoulder dystocia, N and Y were the values in our file. And you can see here they've been appropriately mapped as N is no, Y is yes. And then we're going to click next. And then lastly, this is going to bring you to the review data page. So where you can look at all of the data, and now it's been mapped appropriately to the BirthTracks fields and values. Up top here, this is going to give you a summary of how many rows. We have 124 births. We don't have any duplicates in our file, and we also don't have any duplicates that are already in BirthTracks. If there were duplicates, then they would be highlighted in yellow or orange here, and in which case we could delete them if needed, and also it would not allow you to upload a duplicate birth. Also, if you need to make any changes to any of the values here, you can just double click on the value and then you can make a change to the drop down as well. And over on the right hand side here, it's going to tell you if there's any issues. All of these are going to say okay, but if there was an error, such as like a required field that wasn't filled out, then it would show that to you as well. So we're going to scroll all the way down. As you can see here, we have no validation errors, no duplicates, so this all looks good to import. And then we're going to come here to import. Yay, so our import was successful. You can see we have imported 124 births. If there was some kind of error here, you could select review data, and this would take you back to that previous review data page where then you could scroll through, and if you needed to make change a required field, then again you could just double click that and make those changes. And then we can again come here to the import births to view our past imports here. And then you could come and view your births under My Practices births. This is going to list all of your births that you have either imported or that you have logged individually. You can come to the View Stats page to view stats on your births, or you can come to the dashboard and see how your graphs have changed after you have imported your birth data.